Imagine waking up tomorrow with the exact same job, the same family, the same responsibilities and the same problems. Nothing around you has changed. Yet somehow, everything feels lighter. The difficult coworker no longer ruins your mood. Delays don't frustrate you. Criticism doesn't stay in your head for days. You stop replaying old conversations before falling asleep. Sounds impossible, but that's exactly what the Stoics spent their lives trying to understand. They weren't searching for a perfect world. They were searching for a mind that couldn't be easily disturbed by an imperfect one. The surprising part is that most of what steals our peace isn't happening outside us. It's happening inside, quietly shaping how we experience everything else. Change that, and you change far more than you think. Most people spend their lives fighting the wrong battle. They believe peace will finally arrive once life becomes easier, once they earn more money, once the stress disappears, once people start treating them better, once everything falls into place. But have you ever noticed how every solved problem is quickly replaced by another? Finish one deadline and another appears. Reach one goal and your mind invents the next. The finish line keeps moving because the real problem was never the world around you. It was believing your peace depended on controlling it. Imagine trying to smooth the surface of a lake with your hands. Every movement creates even more ripples. That's what happens when you try to control every outcome, every opinion, and every uncertainty. The calmer person isn't someone with fewer problems. They're someone who's stopped treating every problem like a personal attack. The first Stoic lesson is surprisingly simple. Stop believing every thought that enters your mind. Your brain is incredibly good at creating stories with almost no evidence. Someone replies with a short message, and suddenly you think they're upset. Your boss says, "Can we talk tomorrow?" And your mind starts writing its own disaster movie. One mistake convinces you that you're falling behind in life. None of those things are facts. They're interpretations. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself to separate reality from opinion, because he understood how quickly the mind turns a spark into a wildfire. Before reacting, ask yourself one question. What do I actually know? Not what I'm assuming, not what I'm afraid of, just what I know. Most of the fear disappears the moment imagination stops pretending to be reality. The next lesson is about comfort, because comfort has a strange way of disguising itself as kindness. It tells you to skip today's workout because you'll start next week. It tells you to avoid the difficult conversation because you don't want conflict. It tells you to keep scrolling because you've had a long day. Every excuse feels reasonable in the moment. That's why it's dangerous. Comfort rarely destroys your life all at once. It slowly lowers your standards until the person you wanted to become feels like someone you used to know. Think of a knife that never gets sharpened. It doesn't suddenly become useless. It loses its edge little by little until it struggles to do the job it was made for. Character works the same way. Every time you choose what is easy over what is necessary, you quietly become someone who expects life to be easy. Another lesson the Stoics understood long before smartphones existed is that attention shapes reality. The first thing many people do every morning is hand their mind to someone else. A notification, a headline, a message, a video they didn't even plan to watch. Before they've had a single original thought, the world has already filled their head with noise. Attention is like the front door of your home. If you leave it wide open all day, you can't be surprised when strangers keep walking inside. Every unnecessary distraction steals a little clarity. Every comparison plants another unnecessary insecurity. Guarding your attention isn't about avoiding technology. It's about deciding who gets access to your mind. The quality of your days is usually determined by what repeatedly earns your attention, not by what briefly captures it. Another habit quietly creates more suffering than almost anything else: arguing with reality. The rain starts just before your plans. Someone cancels at the last minute. A relationship ends. You lose an opportunity you desperately wanted. None of those experiences are pleasant, and Stoicism never asks you to pretend they are. But the moment something has already happened, fighting the fact that it happened changes absolutely nothing. It's like standing in the rain, shouting at the clouds to move faster. The rain doesn't stop. You only end up colder and more exhausted. Acceptance isn't giving up. It's refusing to waste today's energy arguing with yesterday's facts. The sooner you stop asking, "Why did this happen?" the sooner you can start asking, "What's the best thing I can do now?" Eventually, you begin to notice something. The strongest people aren't the ones with the easiest lives. They're the ones who respond differently to the same situations everyone else faces. They don't panic as quickly. They don't chase every emotion. They don't need constant reassurance before making a decision. That's because they stopped trying to build a perfect life and started building stronger character instead. Patience becomes more valuable than speed. Discipline becomes more reliable than motivation. Self-respect becomes more important than approval. The world outside may not change overnight, but the person walking through it certainly can. And once that changes, the way you experience almost every problem changes with it. Life will always surprise you. People will disappoint you. Plans will fall apart. Some days will test everything you've worked to build. Stoicism doesn't promise a life without difficulty, and that's exactly why it has survived for centuries. It offers something far more useful: a way to meet uncertainty without falling apart with it. Master your thoughts before they master you. Protect your attention before the world spends it for you. Accept reality before resentment takes its place. These lessons won't remove every obstacle you'll ever face, but they can change the person facing those obstacles. And that's where the deepest kind of freedom begins.